Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is Dan2468, and today we're going to be doing another Borderlands 2 Legendary walkthrough guide. In today's video, we're actually going to be covering two separate items that come from the same location. The first item in question is going to be the basic Deliverance, or well, at least that's what I got. That's the prefix that dropped for me. For you, it may be something different. It's all RNG, all based on what the boss drops, but this just so happens to be the prefix I got of this weapon. And as for the item, it's going to be a shield known as the Transformer. That prefix will not change. It will always drop as the Transformer no matter how many times you get it. Now, in terms of where you're going to go to get these two weapons, you're going to go to Wildlife Exploitation Preserve, and you're going to pretty much start this farm out as if you were going to farm loot midgets. So you're going to go all the way through the preserve to this fast travel location to exit to the Natural Selection Annex. Once you fast travel here, and you can turn around and immediately fast travel back to the Wildlife Exploitation Preserve, and then your spawn will lock here. So that way when you do this farm, you won't spawn up here, you'll spawn all the way down here, so it saves you a lot of time. And this corridor to my left, which I'll display here momentarily, is where you're going to walk through when you spawn here, and you're just going to look in this courtyard, and this is where the two enemies are going to spawn. Now, the two enemies in question is going to be Pomone and Toomba, and those names may sound familiar if you've ever seen The Lion King growing up, or if you've seen it recently. Pomone and Toomba is a direct Easter egg to Pomone and Toomba from the movie. Now, as for Pomone, he will drop the Transformer. He has a 10% chance to drop this shield, and as for Toomba, he will drop the Deliverance, and he also has a 10% chance to drop this. But it's also good to note that both enemies spawn at the same time, but they both only have a 33.3% chance to spawn, so it's a 1 in 3 chance, so the farm may take a little longer. Pretty much just keep X and saving until they spawn, and then go kill them when they do, and then, you know, rinse and repeat until you get the weapons. Now, a few things about the Transformer. The Transformer is an absorb shield. It can get pretty crazy. It can go all the way up to 44%. And it can go all the way down to 25. So it's a good little early game item to have to sustain, especially in enemy dense areas that primarily have firearms instead of like turrets and stuff like that. It's also good to note that this weapon has a recharge ability. It will recharge, or its recharge rate is dictated off of a couple things. The first thing is going to be your health. Whatever your health lost is, it will recharge in a percentage of speed as compared to how much health you've lost. Very weird to explain, but that's how it works with that. And then also, since it does grant you immunity to electrocute damage, when you do get shot by shock weapons while this shield is equipped, it will recharge twice as fast as compared to the shock damage that you're receiving. So it's a pretty good little shield to have. Now, as for the Deliverance, this is a Tediore weapon. It is a shotgun. This weapon will reload like most Tediores, or be thrown when reloaded like most Tediores. But instead of just being kind of tossed like a grenade, it has a unique ability, kind of like the Baby Maker. So when you reload this weapon, it will actually fly through the air for 5 minutes, or for 5 seconds, while honing in on enemies, and it will shoot once every second. Once the 5 seconds are up, it will explode, or once it makes contact with an enemy that it's honing in on, it will explode. Now, it's also good to note that this weapon has a pretty crazy bug where it will take on the properties of the weapon card currently equipped while it's honing in on enemies when you reload it and you throw it while it's floating around. The best weapon to use this bug with is the Bada Boom. If you have a level 72 Bada Boom, mine's level 27 because I use mine for rocket jumping, but if you have a level 72 Bada Boom and you shoot this Deliverance and you throw it, it will take on the damage properties of the level 72 Bada Boom. I'll display that here in just a second. Now, it is also good to note that this shield is not in the world loot pool, but this shotgun is. So there's a chance, very small, that you'll get this from a different boss. It all dictates again on what the boss will drop, but there's a very small chance. I think there's 70 or so items in the world drop pool, and this is one of those items. Now, in terms of how you go about doing the farm, once you've set yourself up at the Natural Selection Annex, where that you've locked your spawn point here, all you're going to want to do is just pretty much just come out here and just take a peek. Now, for me, they have always spawned in these areas, so they're either going to spawn down here by this river, or they're going to spawn over here by this little by the boulder. If you don't see them there, just exit and save. Alright, and now we're just going to come back over here. We're going to check again. So there is Pomone, which means that Toomba is somewhere. There he is. So now all you're going to do is you're just going to try and kill Pomone, because he is the one that's going to have the chance to drop the transformer. This guy right here. And to kind of show you how this weapon works, you see that when you reload the weapon, it will just kind of float around and shoot at enemies and then explode after 5 seconds. Now in terms of how to utilize the bug for this weapon, what you're going to do is you're going to shoot it, and then you're going to reload it, and then immediately switch to the bada boom. Now that weapon will carry the properties of the bada boom that you currently have to whip. Now Toomba is he's a skag, but he's a spitter skag, but unlike normal ones, he actually will shoot pretty much explosive movies at you. So it's pretty easy to dictate or differentiate him between him and the other skags around. Now that's going to be it for today's farm. I hope that it helps you find the items that maybe you were looking for, or maybe help complete a collection that you're building on the character. And if so, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and have a good day.